Hey everyone, Nate here. Before we begin this episode, I would just like to ask a favor from everyone. If you could go over to iTunes, rate and review and subscribe, it would help us immensely becoming a new and noteworthy podcast on iTunes. We enjoy what we do, and we want other people to experience that as well. So it would just take 2 minutes of your time, and it would help us out a lot. Anyways, on to the episode.
So the horn sounds right as Zerosi finishes explaining his layout, walk around, perimeter description. And just to be clear, I kind of made it sound like there was a fence surrounding a building, which is not really true. The palisade, the big thick wooden 3-foot in diameter logs that are sharpened at the end, they actually make the walls of the structure. Okay? And they're sharpened points at the end, but there's still a roof on the structure that is 15 feet tall. You know, at low points near the edge, it's 12 feet tall. The roof is up to 15 feet tall. And then there's that open area that he talks about where Zerosi heard the dire wolves or the wolves or whatever they were. That section of the perimeter wall around that is just a wall. So that's kind of like the structure isn't there. That is open air. So you can always look at the map that we posted for, it's not really a map. It's
Brad's rough sketch.
Correct. It's my awesome drawing skills. Anyway, so yeah, the tower is actually just sort of rising up out of that main structure. And the entrance, main road, gate, whatever you will, leads kind of right by the tower. So there you go. The horn blows, and then you guys hear from inside the structure itself, loud voices yelling, almost like some sort of ruckus going on, perhaps a celebration or something. Because you also notice that in the center of the structure, there is a large column of smoke rising, as if from a chimney, perhaps. It's not like the place is on fire. Because another thing you notice is because of the terrain and time of year, the entire wooden structure is quite damp. So, like, setting it on fire is out of the question. So,
damn.
Obviously, what you're guessing at, what you kind of put together, 2 + 2, is that the horn was some part of some celebration or mustering or something that's going on.
I feel like we should attack them, right, Neil?
Well, the size of the structure, this place could house 100 giants, and that would not end well for you no matter what kind of hammer you have, Ovak. So
I feel like I am ready for any combat.
Grug likes parties.
Let's crash this party.
I don't think that we should just attack. That's likely to get us killed and achieve nothing.
How tall so there's a tower that extends above the whole structure, correct? That we see?
that is correct.
How far up does that tower
How
go?
tall is the tower?
Correct.
The tower is about 60 feet tall.
Grug thinks maybe we climb tower. Get height advantage?
So the tower is like, it looks like a lookout tower, essentially.
That's exactly what it is. Because you see at the top of the tower, because it's 60 feet to the top of the tower, but because the whole structure is roofed. This whole structure is roofed except for the wolf yard, okay? And so the top of the tower is roofed, but there is sort of an open air area near the top of the tower where like a sentry could stand and just look out at the tower while still having a roof over his head kind of thing.
But safe to assume getting into the tower would have an entrance to get into the structure.
Right.
By taking the staircase down.
The column of smoke we see rising, is it like a big amount of smoke? Like, does it seem like it might be coming from a bonfire size?
Yes, inside the structure, right. So obviously the chimney hole is pretty big. We're talking like, maybe 20 foot by 20 foot opening in the middle Because the whole thing, like I said, is hundreds of feet by hundreds of feet.
Grug play Santa Claus, go down chimney.
Well, I was just looking to see if I had anything that could like plug the top and just fill
Smoke
the
'em in.
structure with
Oh.
smoke.
Plugging up the chimney might work if there were no other air holes or anything. But also
but
that would literally alert all of the giants to something wrong.
How much higher is the? So it's pressed right up against the sheer cliff sides.
No. The structure itself is probably 100 yards
From the next mountain face.
And it's all cleared ground, no trees or anything around it.
I guess that makes sense. It had to be spaced out because I circled the
Whole
building.
thing, yeah. Just running up the mountainside.
Well, because I was thinking if it was up against it, going towards the top of these and causing like large boulders to crash into the building. Yes, that would alert them, but at the same time, that could be a natural landslide.
Yeah. I think our best bet is to keep them in front of us as much as possible. So I would say tower.
Yeah, if we do tower, I think this needs to be a stealth mission.
Right. Well, we need to get into a place where we can scout, that you can scout ahead.
Okay, also, I'm going to just throw out there 20 intelligence Zerosi, 18 wisdom Ovac, okay, and then Grug. You guys realize that if there is some sort of celebration or mustering, some sort of big event that's keeping everybody occupied, stealth may not be that difficult.
Right.
And at the same time, so once we're in, though, like, the goal at that point, like, getting in is one thing.
Right.
What is our goal beyond there? Because
We're supposed to find the leader and preferably eliminate him, is what it sounded like.
We got to find out.
But I think we should question him.
But Zerosi, keep in mind that you guys have a free pass from the king of Keoland to keep tax-free whatever you find. This is a fortress of giants that have been raiding the surrounding lands. Holy money bags. So your mission from the king is to find out who is leading and what is behind these giants. Why are they super trained and equipped and motivated to work together? Your goal for yourself, well, you come up with that on your own.
generally to not die.
Yeah. It's a good start.
But yeah, I think we should start with sneaking in, and then we see what we can find.
I just don't like having one way in kind of a thing. Like, I mean, it's shoddy wood. Like, is there any way that we could, like, cut a little bit so that we could break through, or any gaps at all? Or
No, yeah, there's no sort of thin parts of the wood. I mean, it is very solidly constructed. All of the outside wall that I have drawn on the perimeter is at least 3 foot thick logs stuck tightly together.
because the only downfall that I see is climbing up and working our way down. Is that how do we get out?
We go back up.
Like, if things,
They can't come behind us if we're up there.
but then, I mean, if they know that we're up there, and if they're organized, like it appears they are, then they're gonna fan out and wait for it. They could literally just burn us out.
Burn us out. If we go back up on the roof, they can't get up there. They could surround the bottom. You could just hammer them until they all die.
Yeah, he made it clear that I wouldn't be able to just set this on fire.
Okay, then, I mean,
We go in the main gate,
We'll
they're
say
gonna be swarming
40,
us.
40 giants hammering away, cutting down the tower.
Yeah.
They could take it down with just all three of us on top.
What Ovac is, he's thinking of all these things you're saying, and that's absolutely correct. The conclusion you come to is if your mission is to succeed, you can't alert the entire fortress to your presence. If you alert, like, pockets of giants, you have to eliminate them quickly and move on without alerting, you know what I mean? It is a mission of intelligence gathering and stealth, and if the fight comes to it, quick and as quiet as possible, but quick as possible fight.
So
And we
then-
need to, but we need to get in a way that they wouldn't know.
But then, I mean, if all of us went in there, like I'm loud.
Well, where the question,
So are they. I mean, you're 300-400 yards away, and they're inside, and you can hear them partying and yelling and horns blowing. Yeah, it's loud. So,
And there's no other way. I mean, we go through the main gate, we're going to be screwed.
right.
If we go through the back gate, there's the dogs or what have you. They're going to alert us. We got to get in a way that they're not going to expect, so that we can work stealthily and keep them from getting behind us. So my idea is we go in the tower, we work our way down the tower, probably won't see any in there because they don't have a lookout that we can see up there right now, correct?
Correct.
So we work our way down the tower. We go one at a time and hang out there. They can't flank us from behind. So it's not like, oh crap, there's 5 of them behind us out of nowhere. And once we're in, that's a different story.
Okay.
As long as I'm invisible, also, I can go ahead rooms.
Right, that's what I
and
was
tell
thinking.
you whether there's people actually there.
All right. I don't like heights anyways, so you guys.
So
lead the way.
you've decided to go through the tower. Now, Ovac is going to need help climbing up the tower.
Correct.
Does anybody have rope?
Yes.
I think you were given some climbing supplies for
Right.
the mountain.
So the plan is to climb up the wall onto the roof. Then while on the roof, we're going to climb up the tower to the top of the tower opening, throw rope down for Ovac to climb up, and then begin scouting down the tower and into the main fortress.
And there's no reason, like, only I should climb up at first anyways, because I'm invisible. And regardless of how good you are at climbing, if
True.
you have rope, you're going to climb a lot faster.
True. And then you get, if there's nothing up there, yeah. So that's a good point. So let's go ahead and do that.
All right. So what is Zerosi's climb walls?
82.
82%. And the reason it's 82 because you're wearing some elven chainmail, so
Yes.
that kind of reduces it a little bit. Otherwise, it'd be like piece of cake. 82%'s still pretty good.
Yeah, if I took the time to take off my armor, it'd be 99.94.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So 82% climb walls. Zerosi's got a coil of rope around his shoulder. He's gonna climb up.
And the best part is, if I fail, they won't be able to see that I failed. I'll just do it again.
True.
But you interact with the floor as you hit it.
Correct. You know, does taking damage make you visible?
No.
That's a great question. Okay,
I think
so 80. You said 84%. Skadoosh. Okay.
82.
No, you're fine. Piece of cake. You're like, whoa. It's almost like they made it for you to climb. That's how it seems. So you easily get to the top of this tower. You go in through the little lookout gap, knowing you're invisible, but still being stealthy because your move silently is what percentage?
Move silent, 99. And that's with my armor on.
Yeah, and there's modifiers to that, but you still easily are confident in your stealth. You're invisible, you're silent, you're climbing like a spider. So you get up there, and you notice that the open air top of the tower. Now the tower itself is about 40 foot by 40 foot square tower. The top of the tower is about 35 foot by 35 foot open air top, and there is a stairwell that runs along, wooden stairs leading down into the tower and the fort itself. You see a hill giant with a hill giant size mug in his slightly open hand, and he's on his butt back against the wall, kind of passed out. Okay, you notice that there is a bell, an alarm bell here with the dangling from it on a rope is a hammer to strike the bell for like an alarm. Okay, but he won't be hitting that because he is passed out. You're assuming drunk, which you're curious as to how much ale it takes to make a giant drunk.
Okay. The bell, is that just like on a rope?
No, it's on a bar that runs through the holder of the bell. The hammer is on a rope.
What's the bar attached to?
The structure.
Oh, okay. Because you're trying to take the bell down.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Oh, you could confuse the hell out of a hill giant. Just take the hammer.
Yeah, but you can still hit the bell. At the very least, I'll take the hammer. I assume that's easy enough to cut off.
Oh yeah.
Just trying to decide whether I should do something about this sleeping guy or not.
Well, we don't know what's going on, so.
Yeah, the noise of the party is still very loud. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want that to be ever diminished.
Yeah, I don't know how coup de grace on a hill giant works as an elf. And then I wouldn't be invisible anymore.
Correct.
What if you just drop your sword? Because
Then it wouldn't kill him.
But at the same time, one of you guys could do that. Either way, I'm going to drop the rope down.
Okay, so the rope comes down. Hey, look, there's the rope.
I'm confident that even if they make a little noise coming up, this guy's not waking the hell up.
Correct. And there's no noise they're going to make that's going to be louder than the party that's going on.
Grug's going to start climbing the rope.
Okay. So Grug quickly scampers up the rope.
As he's getting to the top, I'm going to be like, there's one sleeping here.
Yeah, so then climb up there and analyze the situation with you.
then
He puts on his glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, I see here. There's a sleeping giant.
I'm just gonna climb up, and as I'm climbing, this is a terrible idea. I don't understand why we're climbing to our deaths.
He gets about halfway up, I cut the rope.
I would much rather just like tunnel my way under. I mean, I like underground better than this sky junk.
Okay, so you're all up at the top of the tower, and there is a sleeping giant, passed out drunk, most likely. And then you guys see the stairway, wooden stairwell going down along the perimeter outside of the tower,
We should just go down the stairs.
leaving the giant.
Grug thinks we should take care of this giant. No flank.
If we do not take out the hill giant, then if he wakes up, there's no indication that anything has changed.
Grug think.
Even the lookout will have no idea that we're in there.
But then, what if he wakes up and he flanks us? Then
He would have to know we're there to flank us.
if we start attacking other people and
The whole point is we're trying to not do.
But if they do,
What
Then
if
he's
his-
not going to hear that fight over the party.
What if his shift over?
Then he'll go to the party.
But what if we on stairs when shift over?
If he wakes up before we get down these goddamn stairs. Trust me, I have done these stealth missions many, many times. Believe me when I say that this is the correct option.
all right, you've never steered us wrong, and
If
if
it,
you do this time, Morden will protect me.
if
I don't know
it
about
goes
Grug, though.
south, I will get you out.
Okay, so you guys make your way down the tower. It leads into the landing of the tower is also the big entry and cloak room for the whole, what you're guessing is the whole fortification. Inside, you see two more giants kind of in the room, and they are also passed out drunk, just clumped onto the ground. There's some dice or something nearby. It looks like they were gambling or playing some sort of game. There are 3 exits from the room, from the entryway cloakroom that you're in. There's a large set of double doors in the middle of the northern wall, and there are 2 single doors. Now, all of these doors are giant-sized doors. Okay, so like a single door is still a really big door. So the big double doors are huge, giant-sized doors, and this is a entryway cloakroom. So there's the 2 passed out giants, and then there's tons of like bags, sacks, piles of hides and cloaks, and just this is sort of like the entryway closet, wipe your boots place. Even though giants don't wipe their boots.
It's the coat room.
Correct.
We're following Zrosi's lead, so
Yeah, you just watch for whatever door opens.
pretty much.
Am I going to be able to, open these doors?
Yeah, you can try. They're pretty big and pretty heavy. And the knobs are,
Well, I mean,
about head level for you.
I want to try the leftmost of the smaller doors.
Okay, because there's the 3 doors are all on the northern end. The big doors in the middle. So the leftmost or westmost door, it's hard to open. I mean, you have a 15 strength, right? So
Yeah.
that's decent enough. It does take some doing, but you get the door open. So Ovac and Grug, you guys are going to stay in the entry room, kind of by the door, as Zerosi goes ahead to search. Still invisible. Zerosi, you're still invisible. You're going to go ahead to search, right?
Yeah, my goal is to go ahead and find the next safe spot to bring them to.
That's the plan.
Okay. So, Zerosi, you go off and you're going to do your scouting. And I'm gonna kind of divide this into kind of 2 sessions here, real quick, just real short sessions. So, Ovac, Grug, Zerosi's gone. He's out of sight immediately because he's invisible. But about 3 to 5 minutes, you're kind of keep glancing over at the 2 passed out guards in the room here with you. About 3 to 5 minutes, not sure when, but the big main doors that lead to the noisy party in the middle, which you kind of pinpoint that as to where most of the noise is coming from in this loud place, is through those big main doors. Okay, they open up, and you're like, what? And stumbling, kind of like obviously super drunk, a giant comes walking out.
Okay, I'm gonna grab Grug, and I'm just gonna pull him to kind of the wall where, like, just the corner of the wall, and
Okay.
like use our shields. And I'm just gonna tell him to, like, shh, we need to be quiet right now. It's a vital point that we are quiet.
Hand on his broadsword, but he'll wait.
All right, yeah. So the giant kind of walks over to the 2 other passed out giants, kicks them, lets out a nasty giant burp, kicks them, looks at him for a second, looks at both of them, kind of turns, looks at some of the bags, reaches in one of the bags and pulls a lump of some mystery meat out of it, takes a bite, kind of looks confused for a second, and then stumbles back through those main double doors and closes them behind him.
I pat Grug on the head. I go, that is a very good boy.
How are you going to reach him? You're 4 foot tall. He's almost 6'7".
So he's gonna pat
I
me.
pat his back.
Pat him on the butt.
He's going to pat me on the
Yeah, I'm
butt and
gonna
be like,
pat
Grug's
his-
going to be like, Grug attack? Okay. And run off.
I pat his ankle, his
Okay.
thigh.
So, Zerosi, you're gonna do some scouting. So, we're gonna take some time and go through this while you're invisible and listening at doors and surveying and scouting as much as you can, being safe. So, please hold. Okay, so Zerosi, you've kind of manipulated around through some hallways and some rooms and stuff, and listening at doors and whatnot, and you come to what looks like a kitchen. You see some apparently Knoll servers running out of the kitchen and going through one of the main double doors into where the big noise is coming from. You kind of peek in there and you see your typical like Viking dining hall, except huge on giant scale. And there's at least 24 giants sitting around drinking and eating and yelling. And oh my gosh, it's, big, scary, crowded room of giants. Looking into the kitchen, you see several, like the Knoll servers being yelled at and hit by a very large female hill giant with a rolling pin and an apron, very traditional, classic, stereotypical big giant cook woman. And then there's a couple other female hill giants in there. There's a huge, 30-foot long open fireplace roasting area where there's several skewered boars being rotated over this open flame. The giants are doing that and cutting off slabs, putting them on plates for the Knolls to take and run off into that main room. Okay, you do see an exit on the other side, so you can maybe navigate your way through there.
Yeah, I want to try and make my way through without calling any attention to
Okay,
myself.
so I need you to roll a d20 because there's a lot of chaos and confusion and bustle, and you're just going to have to kind of manipulate your way through without being bumped or hit anything. Okay, so go ahead and roll d20. 9. Okay, that's a decent roll. So yeah, there's a couple times when you hit a pan or something, but there's so much bustle and chaos going on they're obviously preoccupied with this big party that they don't even notice or hear anything, because the noise is still very loud from the party. The noise is loud in the kitchen from the yelling and the running around. So you make your way through and you continue your scouting. All right, so Grug and Ovac. So you're sitting there. You hear like the horn that you heard from outside, like distant horn. You hear that blow again, and now you find out that it's coming from in the big main room through those double doors where the drunk giant had stumbled out of before. Obviously, that's the party or feast room. What's going on? What do? Do you just kind of keep quiet and hiding in the corner there?
Okay, so Ovac's interest is piqued by the loud horn, and so I wanna go and open up the door just a crack.
Just a little bit. Like
Yeah.
you're not like kicking them open, but you're just
No.
yeah, I want to see in this room.
Yeah, and see what's going on.
Okay.
See how the festivities are.
Okay, so yeah, Ovac, you go over to those main doors, and you open them up a little bit, and you see a huge feasting hall, like Viking style, big pillars and tables, and a huge, like 20-foot by 20-foot fire pit in the middle, and it's just blazing fire, and there's several giants, like, singing together, and several, like, just eating and drinking and playing dice games and bones, and you notice that one of the giants is bigger than most. He stands a head and shoulders above these other hill giants. He's a lot fatter, a lot hairier, and he's got like more like fancy furs on and stuff. Not that they're fancy, because they're still giant fancy. You know what I mean? And yeah, they don't even look twice at you at the door. So you're able to survey the whole thing. And you see that there's probably 24 drunk, partying revelers in there. And the horn is coming from by the fire pit. There's on a big stand, a big, huge, curvy horn that every once in a while the giant will go blow, apparently, for just celebration purposes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of continue to watch, but as I'm watching these giants having fun, I just feel the rage building inside of me, being like, I don't like that they're having fun with me this close. And so I'm just gonna kind of focus on the horn itself, trying to control my rage.
That's to be expected. Yeah. Okay. So if any giants kind of start making their way, you definitely... You don't want to maybe close the door because that might draw attention, but
Yeah,
you definitely scoot back to your corner and hide.
Yeah,
or
they'll
whatever.
notice that a door closing as they're approaching. But yeah, like if I see anyone coming towards, then I'm going to kind of grab Grug and usher him to be quiet and come back.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to Zerosi. All right. So, making your way daftly and dexterously through the kitchen. On the other side, there was like sort of another sort of secondary area of the kitchen around some corner and stuff. And it's apparently where the servers eat. You see several like gnolls, servants, and other female hill giants. They're eating as well, but much less extravagant than the big parlor feasting hall. But they're still eating, and they're not eating happily. They're eating noisily and, obviously a little upset at the fact that they're having to work so hard to feed everybody, yet they get the scraps in the side room over here. There's a couple other doors here, but opening them would definitely reveal your presence because you are still invisible. So you find this is sort of a dead-end area other than those doors you can't really go through. Okay, so you go back or...
Yeah, I'm going to go back.
Okay, so going back to continue searching other ways. Okay, so now you find the only rooms that you can really go to that you didn't hear anything, and they're in the hallways and stuff, kind of removed from the festivities. There's 2 doors that you can pick from Both were quiet. They're in quieter areas of the place. So you listen at the doors. You don't hear anything.
I'm gonna go ahead and check inside those rooms.
Okay, so you open the first one. You find it's a common room. There are about a dozen or so giant cots or rough beds, as well as several boxes and stools and a table, some benches, odds and ends and things like that. Looks like this is where the giants come to sleep or whatever. This is their common room, so to speak.
And it's the same in both rooms?
Yeah, you go in the other room and it's the same thing.
Okay, well, this looks like the next safe location, so I'm going to go back for the other two.
Okay.
I found more rooms where we can move forward without being spotted, and we can determine our next course of action from there. Follow my voice. It is loud enough that I can continually talk a little bit, and you can use that.
Grug didn't know you were there.
Yeah, Grug never seems to get used to the invisible Zerosi talking.
Okay, Grug, follow.
All right, let's follow.
So I'm going to lead them to the room farthest away from the party.
Okay. All right, so you guys are your Zerosi leads you kind of blindly. I guess you can't see him, so
yeah.
But he leads you into a large common room, as you heard me explain to him, and you close the door behind you, and you're now in a safe spot where there's no giants trafficking through. And this is, that was the only entrance into the room. So,
I feel like I almost hulked out on those giants there. Them having fun just really turned to my gears.
What's planned now?
That is what we need to figure out. I believe that we need to have some sort of plan. Do we want me to keep searching? I believe that it's quite clear that the leader is probably in that big party.
I feel like you are correct that the leader is there. I saw someone. He's kind of a big burly fellow and very nice mink. And I feel like we should try and trap them in somehow.
Did Zerosi explore all the rooms?
No.
Yeah, you just kind of from your perimeter walk in the beginning, you figure you explored about a third of the whole place. A third, maybe half of the main interior building.
That.
Grug think our job is to eliminate leader. Can we solo him?
We are unable to take out the leader amongst such a party.
Right. Can we pull him solo away? Where he go pee?
Maybe if we create a distraction, he will send his minions to go investigate, and we can hit him in the face with a hammer.
Grug want to know where he go pee.
Calm it down, Grug.
Do you believe that regardless of the distraction, if it doesn't just set everything on high alert, but yet still pulls them away, that we would be able to finish that before they came back?
Grug think we need to get him solo, without distraction. Magic hands cast silent. Grug punch him in face.
Well, Grug, I appreciate your train of thought, but you want me to cast silence on the entire room?
If we do get him solo and we decide to go that route, I believe you cast silent on something on Grug, and then it is Grug's job to stay on top of the leader.
Grug like that.
So, one thing that's just gnawing away at Zerosi's brain, and occurring to you guys, as all of you as well, but is, yes, getting rid of the leader of this hill giant place was the directive you were given, but also finding out what's uniting them. Like, what's this hill giant chief got that brings them all together? What's the force behind this hill giant? Just killing the chief and being done with it, that might satisfy the very base of what your objective is, but even you guys know there's more to it than that.
I bet he's got big cone haze.
Cojones. Right. So, correct. Eliminating this hill giant chief is very important. But finding out the motivation behind him, and Zerosi gnawing at the back of your brain is, where's their loot?
Grug think him and Ovac stay here. Zerosi scout more.
Finding the chieftain's room, I believe, is the best bet from here, and we'll be able to gather information there, as well as look at whatever he has.
Grug say, "Good luck, Zerosi." Slaps him on the ass. Well,
Careful, he's an elf. He has a very small ass.
He tries to, but he can't see him. So he's really just swinging around the room aimlessly, hoping he hits an ass somewhere.
Good luck, Zerosi.
Grug, no see you.
All
so
right,
sneak on.
So that's the plan, is to scout maybe the other hand. Instead of going through that left door like you did with all your first scouting, go through the right side door and do your scouting wave 2. So are you guys staying in the common room, kind of hidden, like if need be? There's tons of like blankets and cots.
I was going to hide under a cot.
Right, I mean.
Or look under there and see if there's any like.
So you guys can maybe search the common room that you're in.
See if there's a chest or a coffer or some sword or something under there that they just...
All right, so Zerosi, off you go. Okay, so after you've snuck around a bit, you've listened to several doors and several hallways once again down this other side, the sort of the east side or the right side of the structure. You've heard some doors. You heard like on the other side of a door when you listened, you heard like the kids' room where like there was lots of children giants playing very roughly, slamming things, but obviously either midget drunk giants or just kid giants. You heard like a female giant room. You could tell that it wasn't like the serving giants because the door was nicer. It's on the nicer side because this side seems to be a little bit nicer, cleaner almost for hill giants, which is still nasty in elf terms. But and then you also listened to a couple doors where you heard that there were giants on the other side, so you kind of steer clear of those. You kind of come around a corner and you see another set of double doors leading back to the middle, obviously into the big feast room, okay? And another set of double doors further down that are they're not shabby looking common doors, but they're not like elaborate doors. And then a pair of double doors that you're assuming leads out into the open air wolf yard, okay? And then also you come across what looks like a trophy room. It's got a really big, like 20 or 30 foot long fireplace with a huge mantle above it. Several skins are on the walls and the floors. Very nice table that's like kind of set with pottery and all giant size, of course. And on the wall are mounted several like heads of monsters and animals. Like a manticore's head and a Medusa head. Oh, don't look at it. No, I'm kidding. But like heads of monsters and things. Obviously, the trophy room of the giants. Okay, from that room, coming off of that room, are on one end, on the south end, and on the north end, are two separate double doors. So two sets of double doors, one on the south end, one on the north end. Very fancy. So you're using your brain here, and you're like, that's probably leading. One of those leads to the chief's room. Okay? So let's quick shift back to Ovac and Grug. Okay, so you guys are searching in the common room that you're in. You actually, going through, you find lots of smelly, nasty, lice-ridden, flea-ridden pieces of garments and furs. Grug, you actually find an interesting thing. As you're searching through, you find a small unlocked box, probably about 2 foot by 1 foot rectangular box.
I'm gonna open it.
You open it up. Inside, you see a collection of dwarven and elven ears.
Wow, I'm gonna try some on.
Oh look, I'm a dwarf. No, right, so you find a collection of ears. Do you show Ovac?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's not like disturbing to me, but it's weird.
Ovac,
come here. Grug find interesting box.
What's so interesting about it?
It has ear in it. From
What?
elf and dwarf.
Wait, it has dwarf ears?
Si, senor.
Are you sure that it's...
Well, you quickly run over to take a look at this out of disgust and disbelief and anger, right?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
All right. So, as a dwarven warrior priest, you're part of, Moradin's clan of warrior priests, and you have a symbol specifically to your clan of warrior priests. And on one of the dwarven ears, you see an earring, a golden earring set with that symbol.
Grug, we have to kill all of these hill giants.
Grug attack.
Now, yes, attack.
Grug
Everyone.
attack. So Grug's going to take a little bit of a pause because although he would love to attack and probably die, but would love to attack, he's a confusion because Ovak's been so set on him being quiet and won't let him attack anything, even if they're sleeping, which Grug partially understands.
Your silence speaks volumes to me.
Grug no understand why attack now.
Because they are filthy beings.
Well, Grug agree,
I'm glad you agree. Let's find the closest one
but
and punch him in the face.
if Grug attack, Zerosi probably die along with us.
He is invisible. If you want to go out in a fame of glory, this is the way. Let's go. And he starts... Ovak starts walking off.
Grug, wait here for Zerosi.
let's go.
Oh, Grug.
I'm gonna throw my hammer in like 4 seconds.
Grug.
I open up the closest door.
Wait.
I don't care what door it is.
Grug gonna wait here for Zerosi. Maybe he find leader by now. So Grug's gonna walk over to Ovak and grab him and pull him back inside and close the door.
And I'm just gonna fight him. Like I'm fighting against him for
Right, you guys are equally strong, but Grug has a good almost 2 feet. Actually, no, almost 2.5 feet on you.
Yeah. And Grug's gonna stand in front of the door and not let him past. Grug thinks we should wait. Although if Zerosi tries to come in, I'm blocking the door. He can't get in. It's gonna get confusing, but we'll figure it out. We'll work through it.
I really just want to fight right now.
Grug too.
So the banter continues back and forth with Grug's like, no, but yes, but no,
Yeah.
but yes, and that goes on for quite some time. All right, so going back to Zerosi. So Zerosi, in that trophy room, you see all those things and stuff, and the 2 sets of fancy doors. You're gonna basically have to choose which one, because you listen to both, and you can't hear anything coming from either. So you're gonna kind of have to pick a path and choose your adventure.
I'm gonna choose the southernmost one at the end of the trophy hall room.
Okay, so that's kind of in the very southeasternmost portion of the entire structure. Okay, so you go to the door, and it opens inward into the room, and it's big, heavy set doors. So you're going to actually have to put some oomph into it. So if there is anything on the other side, it's definitely going to hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and make a strength. Actually, no, let me do this one for you because there's modifiers here. I don't want you to know how easy your heart it is. Your strength is 15.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you actually like push, give it the good old Zerosi try. The doors aren't budging, and you actually, after your efforts, you pretty quickly realize you're not going to get these doors open. And then you actually hear scratching and growling from the other side of the door.
Of this door, though.
Of the door that you're trying to open and are unable to open. Some beast is on the other side that's growling in a deep growl and scratching at the door.
Okay, let's go to the other door.
Right. That might have been why you couldn't. Maybe whatever it is was up against the door and you couldn't get it, and you're trying to get it open, kind of woke it up or stirred it, and it smelled you or whatever, and it got real angry. Okay, so you go to the other door. Okay, and you find that the other door is locked. What?
Well,
Big fancy set of doors, double doors, mind you. Yet there is a lock on them, and it's not like a padlock with chains, like keeping something in. It's actually like a key that you would put in and turn and unlock. So you could pick this.
I'm gonna try and pick that.
Okay, what is your open locks percentage as a thief?
87 while I'm wearing my armor.
It is too complex for you to open.
Is it like one of those Kisao where I can see through the keyhole?
You know what? It is pretty big. You won't be able to get much detail other than the fact that there is torchlight in the room on the other side. So whatever is on the other side of this door in the room is lit. So, and there's no noise that you can hear coming from it, other than perhaps, now that you see that it's lit, the crackling of a fireplace.
So I'm gonna go ahead and cast knock.
Okay, so you cast knock on the door, and the lock just immediately magically opens, and the door opens just a tad bit, because it also it doesn't just unlock it, it kind of opens it a little bit, whether it's a chest or a door or whatever. Okay, so you cast knock, the door unlocks and just opens just a wee bit, so you can just push it in now.
That's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so you push open the door. So this room is hung with rugs and skins, and there's hides on the floor. There's a bed, a very large bed, 2 chairs and a table. There's a huge ton of wine. There's an old shield and some weapons on the wall in the corner, kind of. There's a very large chest at the foot of the bed. There are several pegs along the wall with clothing hanging from it. And there is a thick chain draped over one of the pegs as well. This looks like a very fancy bedroom for some giant. And it definitely doesn't have a feminine feel to it.
So I think I want to look around and see if I can see anything that would give me a clue as to why the leader here might hold so much more power than normal.
Okay, so you actually piece together, just kind of from looking around, that this is either the chief's room, or if he's got like a right-hand man, this is the sub-chief's room, one of the two. But there's no signs of anything, like the chest wasn't trapped. You checked for traps, it wasn't trapped, you open it up, it's just clothing. But it's, once again, as far as hill giants go, it's nice clothing, but it's still nasty. But no signs of any sort of emblems, documents, anything like that would kind of be a force behind the hill giants, or what's uniting the hill giants, or what's giving this particular group of hill giants their organization, or this giant chieftain more clout than any other giant chieftain. So
okay, was there a similar lock style on the other double doors that I could?
Yes, but it was unlocked.
Well, I would like to go look through it.
Okay, so peeking through, pretty much all you can tell is sort of light or dark and source of light. And so, yes, it is torch lit or fireplace lit on the other side of this as well. But once again, as you're up there peeking, a few seconds after you're there, kind of bumping up against the door and starting to scratch again, and also blocking out any light coming through the keyhole, is the scratching noise, growling. Oh, okay.
So,
and you are visible. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. So the only reason I wanted to look in there was to get a better idea for myself, so that either I can go into the other room or go back to them, and I can just use clairvoyance to see what else is in that room.
Yeah, you could cast clairvoyance. That would work.
I'm just not going to stay right there where that thing's trying to get through the door, causing a ruckus.
Okay. So you go back to them?
Yeah, and I'll tell him all what I found. And
So you're gonna sneak through as you're going back. The only place that you're worried about is the main cloakroom, the entrance, at the base of the tower there, because there was those 2 passed out giants. So you're gonna have to pass through that room. So you're gonna be extra super sneaky and stealthy. Piece of cake, Mr. Sneaky Man. And you go through there and you make it all the way back to them uneventfully. And you guys actually see a visible Zerosi.
I'm still blocking the
Well,
door.
I'm
kidding. Yeah.
I think you guys, it's been a couple minutes since we've got Ovac calmed down enough where he's not just jumping at the door, but he's in his mind. He keeps telling you, this is going to make it so much sweeter when we fight this guy.
Yeah. Zerosi back. What'd he find?
so I found a trophy room and 2 very, very nice rooms, one of which I could not get into. So before we go back, I would like to stay here with you guys and just let you be my guards for a moment, and I'm going to actually cast to be able to see what's in that room before we make our way back.
Grugwatch door.
I will watch Giant's head get crushed. And then I...
In his mind's eye. Yeah, Ovac's just kind of sitting there angrily pouting on one of the cots, just imagining and picturing running the scenario through his mind of him driving his hammer through giant skulls and crushing giant faces. He hates them a lot. Do you take the earring, by the way?
I do.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make an intelligence check. I just want to because you're a dwarf.
Oh, good God.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 2.
And your intelligence is?
Is 10.
So you beat it by 8. Okay, so taking the earring off is making you super ragey, and you keep glancing over at Grug, like, and Grug's like shaking his head. No. But you realize that the ear is from a female dwarf.
Wouldn't that make me more ragey?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're taking it off and you're just getting super ragey because you see this is a female of your warrior priest group. So yeah, as that's going on, Zerosi, you cast your clairvoyance. Now, clairvoyance is a spell that you can cast, and you can kind of close your eyes and concentrate, just like you did back in Istavin to try and see inside the bubble. What it allows you to do is sort of put your eye viewing around as if you were standing in a location, and you can kind of look around without being there. Okay, so for those of you who don't know how that clairvoyance spell works. So you sit down in the room and you cast a spell and you close your eyes and concentrate, and you see in the room that you were trying to peek through the keyhole to see into. And it is another fancy room. The first thing you notice is, out of curiosity, what the hell is in that room? That monster beastie thing. And it is a humongous cave bear. Like a frickin' grizzly bear.
Jeez.
But immediately that's what you see, and you're like, holy crap. But then also what you notice on this grizzly bear is a collar that's studded with gems, and it's like pink and rosy on this big, huge, just frothing grizzly bear, which is still sort of pacing back and forth by the door. Okay? Now, looking at the rest of the room, it is... I guess the best way to describe it in terms of what you've seen so far is this is a female giant's room. It's dainty and giant fashion. So it's not dainty at all, but it's definitely, it's got also trophies on the wall. It's got a bed and the table, chair, stool, the huge, and it's got on the table, there's like a really bad shaped mirror. And on the table, in front of the mirror on the table, it's just like piles of just gaudy jewelry. Okay? So that's like where she gets ready or something. I don't know. But yeah, you're like, okay. And that apparently is her pet cave bear. So yeah, that's what you see with your spell.
Okay, so I'll relay that info. Just for clarification then, these were the 2 nicest by far rooms.
Yes.
So clearing that up, I would assume that the first one I had gone into would be probably the big guy in the
Chief's,
party.
the chief's room. Okay. And the other one is like the chief's wife or the girlfriend or whatever she is room.
Yeah.
And those are the two on the opposite sides of that big fancy open trophy room that you'd seen initially. Right. So, putting two and two together, your layout of infiltration of facilities kind of compiled together over the years leads you to believe that the most viable option for exploration really is this last set of semi-fancy double doors. Not the ones that lead out into the wolf pen, but the ones that are near the chief and chieftess's rooms. Okay, so as you're kind of you put that together and you kind of relay that to the party, the door to your room opens up.
I'm still standing in front of it.
Not anymore. You were kind of let down your guard a little
like
bit.
my back to it. Yeah.
Right, let down your guard a little bit. To listen to Zerosi's tale, watch him in awe as he's like explaining something without being there. You're like, how you know?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're kind of like pushed into the room as the door is opened up.
Okay.
And ducking into the doorway to come into the room is not a hill giant, but a much taller. This one's about 18 feet tall, even taller than the chieftain that you saw in the big party room. And his skin is a lot paler. His hair is sort of like almost like a white, cloudy white. And he's kind of, as he opens the door and pushes his way in, you see in his other hand he's carrying a very heavy, knobby club mace also. But it's like a mace. It's not like a tree that's been niced up to be a weapon. This was a weapon forged. But yeah, he pushes you in as he's ducking into the room, and he sees you and goes, "Ruh!" And a surprised and angry look comes across his face. And we're gonna wait to see what happens until next week.
Aw, man.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Novak's gonna just go ham sandwich on this.
Okay, so you guys go downstairs. You're about halfway down the stairs, and the bell starts going from the tower. Ding, ding! No.
Ring of the Ram.
Just start going. Can I wear two?
3 charges to the side of the tower and out.
All right. So
One little brick.
because you see this is a female of your warrior priest group, and you're like
Priestess.
correct. Well, the group is a warrior priest group, and it has priests and priestesses.
Don't be sexist, Greg.
That's sexist.
Would it be warrior people?
I think it would be preeple.
Preeple.
Right.
So yeah, all your warrior preeple